This conference will now be recorded.
8:30, should we stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. We are weekly supervisor meeting at courthouse. It's available by GoToMeeting also and recorded for future reference. We have an agenda in front of us. Motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve.
Motion is there second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Approve the minutes of the July 23rd meeting. Minutes. Motion to approve them.
I'll approve.
A motion is there second?
I'll second.
Second. Any discussion?
Roll call, Mark.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Sydney. Aye. Jim.
Aye.
Todd.
Motion passes. County Attorney, general discussion.
I don't have much to talk about today, other than, like I told you all, emailed last week, I'll probably come to, most meetings. I may not come to all of them, got a couple of reasons. Number one, it sure seems to me like the juvenile and the criminal stuff is picking up steam. I don't know why, but it's becoming more time intensive, and that's going to require a lot of my time on Tuesdays. Number two, as I said before, sometimes these meetings tend to go off on a tangent sometimes that have really nothing to do with conducting the county's business. To the extent that I get drug into that, to either take somebody's side or to be a part of something, I don't want to do it. I got too much to do. If for some reason somebody specifically needs me here for a meeting, let me know. I probably will try to make most of them. But you know, a lot of counties, the county attorney doesn't go to the board of supervisors. They just say, I'm not going to take part in the stuff. I've always thought it was beneficial. I don't anymore. Sometimes I wonder, but so I'll probably be here quite a bit. Sometimes I might be here for part of it. I might not be here for all of it. If somebody needs me to be here, you got to just let me know. Of course, I communicate with all of you guys pretty regularly anyway, outside of the meeting, right? So that won't change. I mean, most of the work I do doesn't take place here. And so I'm not always needed here. But I'll probably come most of the time. I'll have certain times I want to chime in where I insist on saying something, and I'll make sure I do that. I'm not particularly shy about it. And if you want me here, I'll be here. Like I said, I'll always be available. Not going to be less accessible. Anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So
You, excuse me, you want us to keep an agenda item on the agenda for you, or do you want to put it on there if you?
that's up to you guys. That's up to you guys. You can keep it on there. That's fine.
Okay.
I probably will be here most of the time. Because the fact is, I do think sometimes I'm needed here. Sometimes I say things people don't like to hear, but in the nature of my job, that just how that happens every day, So, I'll probably be here most of the time. Like I said, at least for part of it. Some of the time I'm going to have to bolt out of here to go upstairs, but you can keep it on the agenda if you want. I had something else I was gonna say, but it kind of skipped my mind.
I have a question for you. So we're gonna talk about compensation board later on. And you had indicated that you and the AG might have a different opinion. Do you want to talk about that now or
Yeah.
or later on?
Yeah, so, of course, there's so much of different things circulating around about this comp board change. Some people know what they're talking about, other people don't know what they're talking about. I think I was going over all my stuff. I had said in an email that I thought ISAC had an item that part of their interpretation was wrong. And then I think I said in another one to somebody that it may not have been ISAC, it might have been somebody else that issued something that was kind of wrong. The fact of the matter is, earlier this spring, somebody, seems to me like maybe it was a state auditor, but I don't remember enough to say it was they issued something. Well, then pretty shortly thereafter, somebody else came out and said, that's not right. Don't follow that. That was kind of the consensus. So if I recall, I think I shredded it because I thought I don't want bad information. So I think that was some of the, that was a little bit wrong. Let me get, but I think, and then there were some county attorneys that, or some staff or somebody that met recently that, and then they came away and they said, well, we think ISAC might have been wrong on something. Well, I've read what they said. And of course, there's so much stuff out there, you know, that if I reference ISAC stuff, I'm referencing what I've got. Yeah, I mean, there might be other stuff the rest of you've gotten that I haven't seen. But as I read things, so I don't think there's probably really I don't think, so this county attorneys and staff thought ISAC might have misinterpreted something. I read what they said along with what ISAC said, and then, you know, I read the statute myself, try to put it together with everything else, and I don't think there's much inconsistency there between what those two were saying. I think sometimes in some of the finer points, sometimes you can reach one or two different conclusions, but if you reconcile that with something else, you can only really reach one conclusion. So I think that's the situation here. I don't know if that makes sense or not. The statute, it's just my opinion, the statute, and I'm not talking about whether it's good or bad. I'm talking about from just you know, statute. Some people are good writers, right? Some people maybe not so much. This statute, I think, is a little hard to, it's not really hard to follow. It just leaves a lot more questions than what it answers. So I think that's why there's just been so much of this discussion back and forth among these various entities. It's like, well, what the hell does it say? So
the core of it, though, would it be that if the board chooses to have a compensation board, is at least what I want out of the compensation board is a compensation board that has to show its worth in regards to coming up with numbers. And so any of the interpretations, has it changed that?
No. And this isn't everything. It's hard to encompass everything into this time. But there was some discussion that people thought boards of supervisors and or compensation boards could like lower salaries.
Oh, that part.
And that isn't true. I don't think there's any interpretation of that says it's true. I think so where there was this little bit of a disconnect, if somebody said, well, we don't, that language is, you read that language and it sounds like a board of supervisors could decrease compensation. Then, but like somebody else said, like I thought just like, no, the first rule, you know, one of the first things we learned in law school when it comes to statutory construction is read on and read somewhere else. You know, what you think you're reading is never everything. So that's what these other attorneys said, no, I don't think the board can do that. And I think everybody now is pretty much in line that says, yeah, you're right, they can't. But what they can do is they can lessen, like if a comp board were to recommend a certain percent increase, the board can award less than that, right? They can decrease that raise, right? So some people read the language and said, oh, maybe that almost sounds like they can decrease salary. No, they can't decrease salaries. But if the comp board, for example, said, oh, we're going to give this person 100% raise, then board of supervisors said, well, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to cut that down, right? So I think the dispute mostly, at least what I'm aware of what I've been keeping up on, and you might talk to somebody else out there that says, oh, no, that's not the issue at all. And it's like, well, maybe. I mean, you got other people might be looking at other parts of this. I just know what I've seen and what I've read. So it's still kind of at the end of the day, when you read this, I think there were a lot of people, I don't know about a lot, I don't think there were that many. There were some in the state that wanted these, like comp boards taken out. So I think some of those people thought it was going to kind of increase their kind of level of power. And that's why they wanted that. It failed over and over and over again. Got tacked on to another bill this year, a modified version of it went through. So the bill that came through is not really, from what I understand, what some people wanted. But it was enough that somebody can say, oh, we got a law passed. And so to make this short, at the end of the day, by the time this all shakes out, I don't know if anybody accomplished any of the stuff they thought they were going to. If you want and this is a personal opinion, although I think I could support it with legal analysis and probably experience, but this is just simply my personal opinion. I think sometimes somebody will come up with an idea they want to do, they'll push it. Somebody else will come along and adopt that idea, not for the reasons that these other people want, right? They may say, oh no, you people are goofy, I'm not going to listen to you. But I might be able to use what you're saying to get something else I want. So somebody else will latch onto it and try and carry it through the finish line. I think some people, and this I would, welcome debate on, because I might be wrong, I don't know. It just seems to me that this could be, it seems to me that you're seeing changes come across where the state is trying to take local control away. I think, now, some people read this bill and say, no, that's not what this bill says at all, right? But I think it kind of does.
I don't want to shut you off. but
That's fine.
We have an 8:45.
I got you. And like I said, I have a tendency to ramble on more than I should.
I'll let you come back.
No, I mean, if you want me to, I will. But like I said, what I was saying there was just more kind of what I think as I read stuff. You know,
You answered my questions.
it wasn't really
Public hearing on non-current debt internal loans to fund urban renewal costs. Open the public hearing at 8:45. Any oral or written comments received?
None.
I had 4 that were against using this money for the debt.
Yeah, I had probably about 10. Using this money for the debt too. Didn't feel the county should be going in debt farther.
I had several say yes.
I had nothing.
I received one, written one this morning. So it's kind of long, bear with me. In April, the Enterprise Journal published an article stating that Supervisors Weary, Friend, and Harto had devised a plan in conjunction with Planscape Partners to fund projects using TIF revenue currently held by the county. According to the plan, this would save taxpayers $300,000. Every dollar in county coffers is obtained through property tax. Period. The county board does not produce a product or service in any form that creates wealth or income. The sole source for money for the county is from taxpayers. To imply that a savings would have existed is untrue. The plan fell apart because the Planscape advisors failed to correctly interpret and apply Iowa urban renewal laws. Yet the county taxpayers were forced to pay Planscape Partners somewhat around $20,000 for nothing. Then a new plan was devised to borrow money from existing accounts to fund over $4 million in projects using future TIF revenue to pay the bill. That too was nixed because the county simply didn't have excess money in the accounts to use for projects. That money was committed to paying county operating expenses. This was clearly explained by County Auditor Foster. Like children that can't take no for an answer, these board members pursued yet other ways to fund their projects. In the meantime, a petition was submitted that was signed by nearly 80 county residents to not use TIF to pay for things that ought to be paid out for the regular operating budget. In an act of what only can be described as malice, one supervisor demanded that the names of everyone who signed the petition be read aloud and published in the minutes of the meeting. This was purely meant to intimidate members of the public who would voice their opposition to the board actions and spending. I am against taking money from current accounts because Mitchell County has one of the lowest fund balances of any county in Iowa. Those dollars need to stay in the accounts they are currently in to fund our necessities and to be there to pay for unexpected expenses that may rise. Al Winters, District 2 resident and taxpayer.
Any other comments from the public? Nothing. Close a public meeting hearing at 8:48. Resolution authorizing internal loans to fund urban renewal project costs. Resolutions 1237-24.
Okay, on the resolution, and Heidi, you're on here also, so.
Yes, I am.
On the resolution, in sections 1, 2, and 3, it says, the advance will be repaid to the general basic fund without interest. That's not correct. That came from bond counsel. It will be repaid with 5% interest to the general fund. It's the same way with section 3. So, I will be prepared to make a motion for this, but I just wanted to state that if I make a motion, it's going to be with an amendment that it will be paid with 5% interest. So, any comments, Heidi?
No, you've spoken that very clearly, but that 5% interest would come from the TIF fund. Yep.
make changes to it. If it's a resolution written by an attorney, you can
They will have to do it.
alter it.
They will have to do it. They
Yep.
didn't write it the way we wanted it wrote, so they made a mistake. The attorney made a mistake.
It just needs an amendment to it. The board can approve the resolution as they want, as they would like to.
But the interest is just taxpayer money, correct? You're just taking out one pocket, and putting it in another, right? It's not like it's. all-
Yeah. The goal of the interest is to assist those fund balances that'll be paying for the internal loan and giving them that kind of a kickback for that internal loan.
These fund balances are currently in a bank in Mitchell County, so they're currently earning interest, so, I mean, I don't see where there's any advantage. They're already earning interest, you know?
I don't think that's the case.
We don't think Shannon's got all this money in the bank earning interest?
It's the turbine money that's paying the interest to repay those internal loans.
Well, it's either the urban money or the bank's paying the interest, you're still getting interest on it. So it's not a perk, or it's not a, you know,
Well, it's better than without interest.
the money's getting interest right now, so, yeah, I don't see that as a, you're just taking taxpayer money to pay interest, or otherwise the bank would pay the interest, so.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna get
Yeah,
into it.
no, that's just, you know, so it's actually a negative, I would look at it as, but. Anyway, that's my comment.
You have a motion for resolution 1237-24.
Excuse me. I'll move to approve resolution number 1237-24 with it being amended in sections 1, 2, and 3. That each one of those, instead of without interest, it states with 5% interest.
Motion, is there a second?
I'll say.
A second. Any other discussion?
Roll call, Todd,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Sydney.
Aye.
Mike,
No,
Mark.
No. Motion passes. Then it's time for the second public hearing. So we can go into the sheriff's update.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Sharon.
Good morning.
So the only thing I have for you this morning is the pickup is ready to go to another department, if that's what you choose to do. Darren Volklander with the assessor's office did come and look at it and thought it would work well for what they have going on. So that'd be my recommendation, but you folks choose to do whatever you want to with it, but it is ready to go.
Did you see what it's worth or?
I didn't even look more.
Okay.
No, Darren asked about a check from his shop to mine, and we used to do that, and then we didn't, more recent, feel that was even necessary, because essentially it doesn't come to me, it goes to the general fund. And so we would just transfer the title information out of the sheriff's office, or if it is currently titled to the county, then all I would want to do is take it out of my inventory and they can put it into theirs. But short answer is no, I don't know what it's worth.
But the assessor's a different group than the county.
They have their own budget, yes.
Yeah, so however you want to handle that, I can check the value if it is necessary that they write a check to the sheriff's office, we can make that happen.
Because I did that with the conservation, just gave it to them. County to county, but this is a different. So we'd have to.
So maybe that is the more appropriate way to do it, if you decide that's where it needs to go.
So if they don't like that number, I do know secondary roads. Merlin asked about it too, so.
I think what I've done with Rich's guys and with Rich in the past is middle of the road, not high, not low, just middle of the road, and it is what it is.
So,
Maybe we can take a look at, the assessors already have a vehicle. We can take a look at how that is registered or, and then do the same with, if it goes to Darren as the assessor's vehicle.
Sounds fine to me.
Darren said there's money in his budget to get a vehicle too.
Okay.
Gotta give them a number
Okay, so I will do that. I will get them a number and then
if they.
leave a
approve
number
it,
with Rachel, and maybe you guys can touch base with her
Yeah,
on that.
That middle of the road's fine, you know?
That's typically what I
Yeah.
do. I'm a car salesman, so.
Right.
And we're not looking to take advantage of them, but we just want to make sure it gets paid correctly. Because they-
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that. That's all I have, unless you have questions for me.
Route, we're still pretty smooth.
Yeah, for the most part, it's like a one-day mini rag dry up there. You got people all over the place.
Yeah.
So, but it went fine. They had a good parade, and I think people look forward to that event.
Yeah.
Amongst others, but yeah, it was good.
Sounds like they sold out of everything, so they're.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's their goal. They reached it, so. All right, thank you.
thank you.
Well, you got 4 minutes, department head discussion.
Everyone's favorite words, taxes are done, so they're available online and they're getting printed and they'll be mailed out.
And I would just add, because I don't know if it'll be part of the discussion when item 13 comes up on comp board, but I would support the comp boards still existing simply because it's a way to keep citizens involved in county government. And I think that's it. Doesn't cost anything. And you can take their information or not take their information, but I would support the comp boards remaining. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Well, you got 3 minutes, Rich, you want to hold off or?
You good in 3 minutes?
Salt shed's down. We moved our salt last week. We're getting the poles are pulled out. They're still thinking, I don't know if they changed delivery now. I think I got an email this morning that said the delivery will be possibly the week of the 12th of August, but we're gonna be ready for them for the base. So that's going, good. The, Ground Scouts has been around the area. I don't know if anybody's seen them around, but they're doing some pipe grouting for us. They're doing some mud jacking on some bridge approaches and some pavement. So they're still working around here until we don't have anything for them to do. It's been, I don't know, several years since they've been here. So we're gonna use them as long as we can while they're here. And then one other thing I have, I had you guys sign a final voucher a couple weeks ago on our bridge project north of Stacyville, and I had to change, it doesn't change the value or the dollar amount of the project or what you signed before, so I think it's just, I had to make a correction on one of the items to take it from a 60% pay number to a 100% pay, but I had to do a change order to bring the number back down, so it's really a wash, so if I could maybe get that re-signed, I could get that submitted to the DOT. You already approved it, the number didn't change from last time, so I don't think we really need to go through the formal, put it on the agenda kind of thing, since it's just a change on the document itself, so. I can get that signed. Other than that, that's all I've got. I had a truck salesman yesterday. We're still gonna try to see what we can do on ordering trucks, but what they're telling me is we can get an order in, and this is just one manufacturer. If we get an order in by October, we might see a truck a year from now. So everything's that late. I don't think it's gonna change.
That's just strange.
Yeah. Anything for me? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. There you go.
Good job.
Well, under a minute, so maybe we'll just talk amongst ourselves. 9 o'clock. Public hearing on proposal to issue urban renewal tax increment revenue note. So for public hearing at 9 o'clock. Any oral or written comments?
No.
No? I had the 4 same people on this one also. Against proposal.
Yeah, I had the same number of people against this proposal too.
Same for it.
I have none.
Any,
Yes, I received one this morning. It's kind of long. So it says at the beginning, I wish to submit this email received from Ted Nelson at the Department of Management at the hearing today. I cannot attend, and then some comments after. So it says, good afternoon, Ted. Thanks for calling back. Mitchell County's current certified TIF debt stands at $21,837,727. Does not include all debt. The TIF fund balance today is $5,119,668.31. Estimated bond payments due in June are $4.1 million. I want to clarify too, this was sent on April 1st. These numbers are from the county auditor. Part of the problem issues running into here is a cash flow squeeze at certain times. Most notably, the transfer of funding to secondary roads so the county qualifies for state road programs. Another issue is the discretionary contributions made by the Board of Supervisors throughout the year to entities for various purposes. Here are my questions. What portion, if any, of the $5,119,668 currently sitting in the Mitchell County TIF account can be used for new expenditures and/or new debt? 2, Mitchell County has bond payments due from the TIF account in June 2024 totaling $4.1 million estimated. After the bond payments are made, the balance held in the TIF account will be about $1 million. What portion, if any, of this $1 million will be available for new expenditures and/or new debt in current or future years? It is not available now, if it is not available now, when will the excess TIF fund be available to use for new projects and debt? 3, Mitchell County is currently collecting more TIF revenue than is needed to make annual bond payments. What are the legal requirements for use of the excess TIF money once all debt has been repaid? 4, how does the excess TIF revenue being collected currently affect the amount of property tax county residents have to pay? Answers to these questions will be very helpful understanding more about TIF. Thank you, Al Winters. Ted responded, Al, my answers to your questions are numbered to match your question. So 1 and 3. To collect TIF revenue, there must first be a debt taken out that is to be repaid by TIF revenues collected in future years. TIF is a debt repayment tool. It is not a project funding tool. All revenue collected under TIF is owed to a debt that has been previously certified. Code of Iowa 403.19, parent 10, parent B, states that money in the TIF fund is to be used solely for the repayment of TIF debts. There should be no unobligated funds in the TIF fund most of the time. The only time you would see truly unobligated TIF funds would be in the event of an overpayment where all of the debt had been paid to completion and balance remains in the fund. Per Code of Iowa 403.19, parent 2, parent B, parent 2, parent C, any money left after all the TIF debt has been repaid in full should be returned to the county treasurer and reapportioned out to the affected local governments as regular property tax. 2 and 3, no balance should be allowed to be used for other projects as all TIF dollars brought in are obligated for repayment of previously certified TIF debt. Per the fiscal year 2023 annual urban renewal report, Mitchell County has over $17 million of outstanding TIF debt coming into the current fiscal year. The remaining $1 million would be obligated to repayment of this balance in future years. 4, it is hard to say what the impact of the use of TIF is on any one local government as the TIF diversion comes from the new valuation that was not available previously to local governments. Each situation is different and it affects on local tax rates would have to be studied individually. Sometimes there is no impact, especially in new TIF areas. Sometimes use of TIF can cause an increase in tax rates of the underlying local government. It really varies from situation to situation. And then I will add the following comments. As a Mitchell County taxpayer, I will point out the use of TIF to fund special projects falls outside the written rules as found in Iowa code. This is not me just talking, this is directly from the Iowa Department of Management. The board was also informed in a recorded interview with attorney John Daniels in January that attempting to use TIF revenue in the manner that is currently proposed was not possible. Yet certain members of the board refused to take sound legal advice and adhere to Iowa law regarding the use of TIF revenue. Instead of saving Mitchell County taxpayers $300,000 as stated in April, this action will actually cost taxpayers over $370,000 in interest, attorney fees, and payments to the company that is proposing a new plan to borrow money. Supervisor Weary stated that in an earlier meeting that he wouldn't sell anything against Iowa law regarding the use of TIF. Most taxpayers like me are busy working or operating businesses and simply don't have the time to be involved in local government. Or if they do choose to be involved, risk negative publicity or attacks from the people that they have been elected. The county needs to stop spending money on special projects and return those TIF dollars to the county treasurer to help lower the tax burden for all residents. Allergists.
So I will make a comment in regards to that because we have had this state debt thing shoved down our throats constantly. Some of that is, I don't want to say it's misrepresented, but it's not clear. So as that was said right there, it might be actually a little bit different as we speak today, but the last known figure was our TIF debt. Our debt is $17,831,154. 54% of that is from Valent. And what we did was when Valent was constructed,
Not we, but the Board of Supervisors purchased general obligation bonds for Valent because it was more conducive for that industry for us to do that. That is part of our debt load. That's part of that $17 million, $17.8 million. But Valent is paying for that debt, paying for those bonds. So 54% of $17.8 million is $9,628,823.16. Our actual debt is $9.6 million. If you consider the 54% that is Valent's responsibility. That's my comment.
Any other discussion? None? Close the hearing at 9:07. So we have a resolution authorizing the use of $2,430,000 for urban renewal tax increment revenue note and related term sheet. Pledging to the payment of their funds and portions of tax created pursuant to authority of subsection 2, section 403.19 of Code of Iowa, and providing for the security thereof all urban renewal purpose of Mitchell County, Iowa. Resolution 1238-24.
Mark, excuse me, did we close the public hearing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I was on my mind somewhere
9:07.
else. So, okay, thank you.
Resolution 1238-24.
Move to approve.
A motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? The only thing I would like to say is the farming income is down 25% from last year. And it's getting hard for people to make it from day to day, the way the stuff is, the last 2 years have gone up. So I'm against this at this time.
I'll agree with your statement.
It'd be like, if you made $50,000 last year, you're gonna be making $37,500 this year. That's pretty tough on people. We're in the farming community and we didn't have a very good year last year, and this year prices are low, so I think it's asking a lot for the taxpayers. That's my 2 cents.
Roll call. Jim?
Aye.
Sydney?
Aye.
Mike?
No.
Mark,
No.
Todd,
Aye.
Motion passes. Next one is at 9:15. We have 5 minutes. So, county engineer. Move to compensation board, probably gonna take more than 5 minutes.
You want me to do our applications? I don't probably need more than 5 minutes.
We can start with the Nikki Lewis, construction loan. She's asking for $20,000 loan.
So with hers, she actually did apply for 20,000, but she is just eligible for $9,000 of that just because the program guidelines require it to be like new construction or renovations. And so she did have, let's see, $27,550 in renovations to her building that she purchased, which the program doesn't allow you to use the funds towards just the purchase of the buildings. The program intent was construction and that sort of thing. And so she would be eligible for $9,000 of the CLP funds. Scoring it, she scored enough points. A total of 80 points, so out of the 100 points, so use of funds, I gave her 25 out of the 25 points. Matching funds was easy, 25 out of the 25. And then hiring Mitchell County contractors and then purchasing, I did give her 15 out of the 25 on each of those categories, just because she did have some out of county purchases and contractors. It's for a total of 80 points, which still puts her as eligible to receive the loan. Questions, or if you guys want, I did attach the out of county contractors and also all the purchases and contractors there. So you guys should have those. If you want me to go through them, each thing I can.
Look good, I guess, to me anyway, unless somebody else wants it.
Good.
We have a motion to approve the Nikki Lewis construction loan program.
Move to approve.
We have a motion, do we have a second? We have a second. Any other discussion?
roll call, Todd,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Sydney.
Motion passed. Discussion of possible action on Brad and Pam Squire CPL application.
So I apologize with this one. He did fill it out with pencil, and so it didn't transfer real well when we scanned it. So if you need to see the original document, I have it right here. But he had an $82,806 dollar project, putting in a shop and a garage, and eligible for $20,000 of the CLP funds. And so as far as his scoring, he also have enough points to receive the loan, so he received a total of 70 points possible, 25 points for the use of funds and matching funds, and then he did have some purchases and contractors out of town and out of the county, and so 10 points out of the 25 for each of those, for a total of 70 points, but still enough to receive the CLP loan.
Good. You have a motion to accept the Brad and Pam Squire CPL loan.
I'll make that motion.
The motion is a second.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Roll call, Mike.
Aye.
Todd,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Sydney.
Thank you.
We've got another minute. 9:15. 9:15. Open the public hearing at 9:15. Any oral or written comments received? This is for the, public hearing for the fiscal year 25 budget amendment.
I had none.
I had none.
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 Any public, any questions? Close the public hearing at 9:16. A motion for the resolution 1239-24 for expenditures increase $11,950 to social service department, increase $500,000 to the secondary road department, increase $7,270,167 to non-departmental department. Revenues increase $525,000 to the secondary road department and increase $5,292,912 to non-departmental department.
So moved.
A motion is our second.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
Roll call, Todd,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Sydney.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Ready. And we're down to discussion and possible action, consideration of establishing a compensation board.
I was asked to put this on there last week. I guess I'm just curious if the board wants to have a compensation board. There is a resolution ISAC put together, or our county attorney could put one together. I know ISAC has it on there that we would have to know the individuals to put it on the resolution. So it wasn't my intent to do a resolution today. It was just a simple action in regards to if we wanted to have a compensation board. If this, excuse me, if this board wanted to have a compensation board, then, and we approved it today, that would just send a signal to elected officials to line up with their representative, also with us, if we wanted to keep the representatives as we have, or if we wanted to have different representatives, same way with other elected officials, if they wanted somebody different. I guess I would say that if this board wants somebody different, which is fine, if we brought names to the table or individuals to the table, I wouldn't want to be spitting out names and publicly. Yes, it's public information, but upon request, I wouldn't want to be discussing people publicly if we were going to make a change. I don't think it's really polite to do that. We could maybe have a piece of paper, write the individual, what the person does. We could share it. We wouldn't have to approve it at that meeting. We could approve it at the next meeting, but that's just a comment. But, so does the board want to have a compensation board or any comments?
To approve the resolution, you have to have your people in place at the same time, correct?
Correct.
So
You
we're
gotta
not
have
doing
figured
that
out
today.
who you want. That has to be.
Yeah, well,
Correct.
Compensation board? Agree? I agree.
I'm in favor of it. The one comment I do have is we may have to have, once we put it together, maybe they will have to explain that they need to, or what their job is, kind of make sure they check areas that were comparable to and things like that. So like to maybe
Mark.
have them, how do I want to say, make it a little more of a job than they have before, really.
So they know what they need to do.
Correct.
Just Todd's comment, would presume that ISAC would prepare something for us because all the counties that do it are gonna have to do that. I don't think they're gonna want us to all go off the cuff separately. They'll probably give us guidance and something to help train compensation boards. Because that's part of their job as our association.
That would be good. I'd be okay with that.
Any other comments?
I guess I would say we could do it ourselves, but I guess it's among numbers, so I guess we'll go with the compensation board then.
Look, you don't know if you're outnumbered, we haven't voted yet. So,
Oh, yeah,
Rachel.
yeah, 3 yeses.
I was just gonna add, when you do go to the resolution, we'll just have to draw lots on the term years for 3 and 4.
Yes, thank you. That's,
Doesn't the board of supervisors have 2 representatives?
Yep, so you
Everybody
guys have
else has-
2, and then 1, 1, 1, and 1, and 1. Yeah.
Okay.
7.
So do I have a motion to have a comm board?
so moved.
A motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion?
Roll call, Sydney?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Jim?
Right.
Mark?
No,
Todd?
Aye.
motion passes. So we'll wait for ISAC to get a template out.
Yeah, we can research that, find that out, and elected officials can now line up their representatives and we move forward.
All righty. We're on to meetings attended, all right? Meetings attended.
I am,
None.
We'll have a substance abuse coalition board meeting. Talking about getting that tips training set up in August, Monday the 12th and the 19th, from 3 to 6 at the library. And talking about getting a video for Saints TV and possibly Osage when they get their sports thing set up for, view online.
Oh, okay.
And have a Central Iowa Juvenile Detention Center meeting and pretty much routine. And we're gonna be getting an updated 2080 agreement that we'll have to sign at some point. But until that's done. And I talked about their transportation report. They have 50 drivers on the road every day doing transportation for hospitals, sheriff's office, juvenile detention centers. That's a big business, their transportation part of it, so. Do well on that, so. Anyway. They're still.
We had a county social service meeting August 1st, which is in a couple days. We'll find out which map they chose, find out which way district we go to. And they heard something in the pipeline about they're going to fine homeless people $50 a day for being on the street. They asked the sheriff that's on the board, they asked him if he heard about it, and he hasn't heard that yet. That's, doesn't make much sense, does it? Homeless, are you gonna pay $50 to be, a fine?
Yeah.
That's the, state of Iowa for you.
I had none, but fair starts Wednesday through Sunday. Again, it's a free fair. Thursday is my day in the office. I will probably be spending most of that down at the fairgrounds helping. I will pop in and check my phone and emails if anybody wants to get a hold of me for anything, so that's all I had.
I did have one, Mark, I just have to think about it. So, I've already filed the minutes, they sent me the minutes. I did not attend the meeting, but it's one of my boards. It's a second judicial branch. And because of the way the state has restructured a lot of things, second judicial has now become an advisory board and not a decision-making board, a voting board. They had a meeting in Webster City. There was no Zoom option. I wasn't going to drive over 3 hours round trip for a 20-minute meeting, and I figured they could have a Zoom option. And there's a lot of other people who felt the same way. In the minutes, it indicated that they're going to start doing that. But again, it's an advisory board, so now they're just more or less kicking around ideas to help improve the judicial system, which is great. That's good. Second Judicial has been an instrumental district in the state of Iowa in regards to corrections and rehabilitating inmates and improving their life so that they actually have something to do after they get out of prison. They're an excellent district branch, I'll label them. Again, I didn't attend the meeting, but that's my comment about that.
Thank you.
Okay. Clerk of Court report for June. We have $1,746.59. Clerk of District Court. Manure management plan update.
Growth Farms, 4450 Jersey Avenue, Sinansker, Junction South, 4803 Windfall Avenue, Riceville, Long North Finisher Farm, 4698 Shadow Avenue, Stacyville, Peter Nolt Site 1, 2541 370th Street, Osage, Peter Nolt Site 2, 2611 370th Street, Osage, Burns Site 4051 Underwood Avenue, Riceville, Riceville Site 3247 400th Street, Riceville, and DCI Site 3250 Kirkwood Avenue, Osage.
Okay, very good. Public comments. Any public comment? We'll adjourn the meeting at 9:27.